back to broadcast. This is a celebration of broadcast television, network television, appointment television. I am so excited to be here with my first guest, Anirudh Pisharody. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a real one for being my first guest.
I have a question
it.
before we even start.
Oh, okay.
What is appointment TV?
I'm glad that you asked. Okay,
Yeah.
So you were on
First time
Appointment
hearing
TV.
about it. Okay, gotcha.
You
All
were
right.
on Appointment TV. Appointment TV is essentially when you got to race home.
Sure.
You want to make sure that you're in front of that television at 8 p.m. You got to be ready to watch 911 when it
TV.
airs.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
okay.
you're making an appointment and you're enjoying it with other people
that.
because you're all experiencing it
Right.
at the same time.
I love that. It increases the stakes, I feel like, which
It
is
does.
great.
I'm sure you've seen all the live tweeting. So like
Oh,
you
definitely,
see that
definitely.
does not exist in the same way when it's like streaming.
Sure,
or,
yeah. So it's a very new thing, I bet, like it's like a this decade, this generation type
It
situation.
is. Yeah. And so that actually, I know everybody wants to hear about 911, but
Yeah.
that does, given that this is a celebration of broadcast, I do want to ask you as someone, because you've been on streaming television as well.
Yes.
What is it that you enjoy about, the 20 episode seasons, be in front of your TV at 8 p.m. type of formats?
I think there's a freedom that kind of comes with it because you have such a wide latitude, so many episodes to shoot that like the different types of things that you're going to do throughout that season is really varied, and there's a huge range. And also, generally, when you have the luxury of having 20 episodes, that generally means that you can do a lot of things practically also. So for 911, for example, everything that we do is legit. There's very few green screens. An explosion, we're actually experiencing an explosion. We are feeling the heat of that, If there's a train disaster, a space shuttle, whatever it is, they're like going to try and get as much of that to be as real as possible. Which I think sometimes, when you just have 6 episodes and it's like a streaming show, that's fine. But for the most part, they're going to try and keep that budget down as much as possible. You know what I mean? And obviously, every show is doing that, but I think there's that luxury with network TV.
To kind of actually put things in perspective, I know that you guys probably film out of order, but
Yeah.
how often would you say that, how often do you wrap the last scene of an episode and then have it air that same week?
Oh, like how often are we down to the wire?
Yeah, down to the wire. I wasn't. Yeah, we can say it that way.
It's kind of like an exponential curve, right? So in the earlier episodes, we have a lot of time because we're usually starting filming in I think end of July, and then before it airs, we have 3-4 months. But because everything kind of gets backed up, right? Because it's not just we can shoot it and then we can air it. You got to edit it, you got to color it, there's sound, all this sort of stuff that goes into it. So by after the mid-season break, and when we're getting into 2/3 of the way done, it's really pretty much we're right on this episode, and to the point where we'll have ADR requests come in 2 days before the episode airs, and we actually need this line, we got to figure this out. And it makes sense, right? It's a very ambitious show. There's so many moving parts. There's so many emergencies, both on and off set that occur that there's just a lot to deal with. But we get it done every single time.
Do you ever do ADR virtually, or do you always have to come in?
I personally like going into the studio, but sometimes, yeah, if there's just not enough time to schedule studio time, they have a whole setup that they'll explain to you. There's an app that we use, and you just kind of get it done on your own time.
I want to talk about 911 season 9.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I feel like we cannot move forward without talking about Bobby Nash and how incredible Peter Krause was. We talked about this briefly at the end of last season, but what was it like coming into this new batch of episodes, knowing that this is kind of a new era and that he wasn't going to have that on-screen presence?
It's definitely you feel it. It's like a phantom limb, his presence is definitely missing. And he always had that quality about him to kind of really tone down a room, make everything you felt safe, which I don't think a lot of people are able to do, but he was able to do that, and that's definitely missing. But the energy is still there, I think Chimney being interim captain, Kenny Choi, he does a phenomenal job of kind of filling that role and stepping into the shoes. And Pete's doing great though. I think he's living his life, he's bouncing around, enjoying his time off.
You guys really honed back into that dramedy aspect in the first episode of the season. I loved being able to laugh again at the show. It was one of my favorite parts of the premiere. But how do you think Ravi is coping with everything? I mean, I know that time has passed. There's a time jump, obviously.
Yeah. I think like any time that a person loses someone who is very important to their life, a father figure, a mentor type figure, there's a lot to unpack, and I think he's slowly getting over it. But I think you can see in the way that a lot of these scenes play out in the coming episodes that the air is still heavy, I don't want to say the ghost of Bobby Nash, but like the spirit still kind of lingers, and every line, every scene that we're a part of, it's there. But everyone's doing better, I think at the end of the day, what he would want, right, especially as the character, is that the job gets done, that we're continuously saving people's lives and making sure that we're taking care of each other, which is what we're trying to do.
Well, you guys are going to space now. We just had Hen and Athena in space. Did you want, there were some technical glitches in the last episode. No. Did you want Ravi in space, or are you glad that he was Earthbound?
I would have loved to be in space. I love space. To anyone listening right now, I would have loved to be in space for this project, any future projects. Yeah, it would have been really cool, I think. I'm a big sci-fi nut, so I was definitely a little salty, a little jealous.
You know what? It's 911. Maybe they'll go back to space as the 118
Honestly.
Now, I did want to ask you, I heard musings that you had filmed a fake death scene for Ravi. Is that accurate?
I think we can say it now. No, it's not accurate. We hadn't filmed a fake any death scene. There was a script going around, but that was really it. There was no, I didn't have to film a whole separate thing.
Okay, so you always knew that Ravi was going to live.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it was it's something that we had to do to kind of. It was one of those situations where it was like. It's such a bombshell, and it's such an impactful situation that it had to be treated with a lot of caution, with a lot of trepidation, because as you can see how fans have responded, it's like very polarizing. So that was the strategy behind it.
I did see a lot of people thinking that like you had filmed like a fake death scene and nobody actually knew who was going to die. So okay, okay, so you knew what was happening.
Yeah,
we touched on the possibility of a Ravi Begins last time that we
talked.
People still want it.
Okay.
Have you thought any more about what that could look like?
I've thought about I have a couple of ideas, kind of musing around in my head, but I think. One thing that we definitely have to touch on is kind of his cancer backstory. It's such a huge aspect of his life that wasn't really explored, and I'd love to go back and just kind of see what his life looks like, not as necessarily a kid, but immediately after that, how he kind of moves through the world and how he comes onto the answer of being a fireman and how becoming a firefighter is his career path. I would also love to see how he became, or his time being off duty and doing the Long Beach rescue. And I think that's it's a powerful scene that he has between him and Chim, and that there's a lot to unpack there, especially losing someone like that when you're off duty and kind of forcing you to leave the family that you had become a part of for a little bit. So yeah, a lot of those things I would love to just kind of flesh out and see where it goes. Also, the bit about him being a landlord, I think...
I was about to bring that up.
That's, when I read that in the script for the first time, I was like, didn't even think of that. That's very interesting. And I love that it makes him a bit more complex.
I asked people for questions they wanted to know about Ravi, and so many people were like, we need more information about the landlord situation. I honestly think that it would be fun if that just became a running gag in the show, and it always comes up that he's a landlord, and we find out he's renting out these mansions left and right.
Right. No, they go to all these emergencies, and it's like, oh, this place is owned by me. It's like, this is mine. This is my house. This is my duplex. I'd love to explore how he became a landlord too, because it's his third property. So I don't think he's making enough money as a firefighter to afford that. So what are his side hustles that he's doing to,
all things we got to find out.
Yeah, one day.
We do. Have you seen that people are wanting more scenes between Ravi and May?
Yes, I have.
What are your thoughts? How do you think they would mesh in whichever way? Friendships, romantic, whatever you're feeling.
I think Kern and I were pretty good friends, and we always have fun on set. I don't think I've ever had a scene with her that wasn't without the ensemble. But I would imagine, it would have to be some sort of emergency where either Ravi has to go to the call center for whatever reason. Maybe he broke his leg or something like that, and he can't perform his firefighter duties, and has to be I have to help the emergency in some other way. But yeah, I would really relish that. It would be a really fun time to do.
I mean, obviously, one of the biggest switch ups is that Chimney is now captain, which means that Eddie is now Hen's partner.
Yeah.
And you are now Buck's partner.
Yeah.
What is it that you think Ravi and Buck bring out in one another that maybe they weren't, bringing out of other people?
It kind of feels like almost like a comedy duo, a little bit. I feel like I'm the much more down-to-earth, grounded individual where I'm just kind of like calling out all of his BS on whatever it is. And he's like having these freakouts and I'm like, no, but really. No, but like this is actually how it is. Like, why are you freaking out? Which is very interesting because if you look at how we started, right? It was this mentor-mentee relationship where he's like really teaching me and I was like nervous and just kind of like a nervous wreck. And so the growth has been something that I've really enjoyed being a part of, and also like kind of look forward to every season of seeing where Ravi's going to go, and especially in his relationship to Buck. And I really do appreciate that they're becoming more and more equals in a sense, where there's like this mutual respect. When before it was like a lot of Buck just kind of being like, da 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 da, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, and Ravi just kind of quelling in fear.
Do you think they've been frothing? Maybe has that happened behind the scenes?
I want to say yes, but the reality is probably not. It's probably still Ravi just frothing by himself. It's a tough sport to get people to, adopt. It's rough.
What's it going to take to get, I want a scene of Ravi frothing, and he's just like a pro frother.
He's a froth league? Yeah. I would love to see that. That should be what we pitch.
There we go. That's for Ravi.
Right.
Ravi
on one
Begins,
of the golf courses that he owns, there's a little frothing area. It'll be nice.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I would also like to know, I don't know what you can say, how far ahead you've shot, but what are you most excited for fans to see with the Buck and Ravi partnership this season?
Oh, in a couple of episodes, there is, well, I want to say it's unexpected. With 911, no, this is exactly what you would expect. But there's a wonderful storyline that happens between Ravi and Buck, and a little bit Eddie as well, that I think fans are really gonna enjoy. I'm trying to like not give away too much.
You're doing a great job.
But I'll just say it's not in relation to an emergency or a fire. It's just it's just a couple of guys having fun. Yeah, I'll say that much.
I feel like I have to ask because Ravi has been on the receiving end of Buck's, crash outs about Eddie.
Sure.
I don't quite know how to phrase it. And Ravi just seems so, over it. Yeah. We know how Tommy feels. We kind of know how Maddie feels. I'm curious, what does Ravi think? What does he think is going on?
So, yeah, like I said, I feel like Ravi's just so down to earth and he's so matter-of-fact about it that every time he sees Buck making these decisions, it's like, dude, the answer is obvious. It's all you. You are the problem. You know what I mean? Go talk to a therapist. Just figure it out. And I think there is a level that Ravi would wish that Buck would ask him his opinion too about it. In a much more just straight up manner. So Ravi can be like, no, dude, this is exactly what you've got to do. All you're trying to figure out who you are and all this stuff. And it's like, let me tell you exactly who you are. So yeah, I wish there is a level that Buck would open up more to Ravi.
Well, with the new partnership with Buck, I am kind of on another note. Do you feel like you're doing more stunts than you were doing before?
Yeah, I think since the second half of last season through now, there's definitely a lot more stunts. We've done a lot of physical stuff, at least in the first couple of episodes that we filmed this season. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say stunts, but the physicality, yes, is definitely there, which is something that I love to do.
I have a favorite stunt.
Yeah, there's an episode coming up which was very reminiscent of the lab, of us in our full gear and just fighting the elements and just kind of in it. That was really fun, but I can't spoil it yet.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it this time. Well, now, because you talked about earlier about how Ravi's no longer a proby. Mm-hmm. Do you want to see him in more of that leadership, mentorship role? If a new proby came in, how do you think that he would handle that?
I think so. And what my fear is that I think Ravi would treat whoever would like be the new proby just how Buck treated Ravi, with like a sense of, I don't want to say dictatorial, but like a very stern hand. Because I think, Ravi would relish that. He would just kind of be like, okay, now it's my turn. Like, let me put them through exactly what I went through. But I don't think it would be cruel or mean. It would just be,
I don't think Ravi's
a little
capable
shade,
of being
a little
mean.
pepper of that.
No.
Yeah.
He seems like a sweetheart.
Yeah,
Well, what is you've worked with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, broadcast, streaming, you've done film. What is a co-star that you would love to either have act beside you in 911 or in another project? Do you have a
that
dream
I've worked with before?
Yes. Do you have a dream co-star that you want to reunite with?
Yeah. We're talking about network TV so much. One of my favorite shows of all time, I would say it's my favorite show of all time, is Lost. And and so I had the pleasure of working with Henry Ian Cusick, who played Desmond on Lost in Big Sky. And we really hit it off. He's a friend of mine, and I would love to work with him again, I think. And he was actually on Lone Star. He did a little stint on Lone Star. So,
Oh, nice.
the universe is right there if we can make it happen.
Great, yeah. To the world. Well, then, the universe is expanding.
Yeah.
We have Nashville. I've been watching Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel?
I think it's great. I mean, I love that they haven't pulled any punches, especially with these episodes, with like just how we do it on 911. Everything is practical. They're shooting in Nashville, so like the atmosphere and everything is kind of how it should be, and how we have seen it before and how we expect it to be. And I think the cast is really great. I think it's a pretty funny storyline with two brothers meeting each other.
Do you have a headcanon for what it would look like if Ravi went over to Nashville?
Oh, no, I don't even know. I think Ravi would embrace his southern roots, maybe. Well, because I'm from Austin, Texas, so I would consider myself
you
southern.
are, that's right.
So I'm bringing that to Ravi as well. I think he would really, really be down for it, I think Ravi loves live music. Nashville is a great spot for live music. And I'm sure Ravi would get roped into some emergency somehow, find himself at the center of it, and end up helping the Nashville crew out.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a very good guy.
Which have you seen the amount of love for Ravi out there? Because
on Twitter, yeah.
Everyone loves Ravi. Everyone's like, make sure that he knows how loved Ravi is.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that,
He's such a beloved character.
Yeah. I try to do right by the fans. And that's part of the reason why we can, why we've been going for so long. Just the fan response for every character has always just been, I want to say, overwhelmingly supportive, majority of the time.
This is a question that I like to ask because I feel like it says a lot about you and it says a lot about the character. But do you remember the first scene that you shot and you were like, okay, I get Ravi. Like, I am Ravi. I feel this.
Somebody asked me this the other day as well. I think that the treasure hunt episode, that was kind of very much like, that was when I really was like, oh, okay, I get this character and what he's kind of supposed to be. I will say the one time that I was a part of, I would say the first time that I did an episode where I was like, wow, I'm on this show and I'm like doing it for real, was the episode where Bobby gets shot by like that sniper. And Athena, myself, and Buck, we have to go into that like burning building to like save him and like drag him out. That was like a full burn house, right? So there's like flame bars everywhere. We're wearing the full outfit. We have the air going, and it's hot. I mean, it's like a building that's actually on fire. So you're in there, and that was the first time where I'm like, oh wow, this is like, we're doing this. We're actually doing this, and there's like cameras on us, and they're like, we're filming this. That was when I was like, I'm a firefighter. No joke. I am a firefighter in this space.
Yeah, and that was the first time you ever played a role like that, right?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Similar.
Definitely. And I think, even moving forward, whenever that may be, like, I don't know if I'll ever play a role like that again, because it's such a niche physical thing that, like, barring another show where you would play a firefighter, like, there really isn't anything to compare it to,
Man, could you see yourself? I mean, you've never done any like action thriller?
I have, yeah. I have done like some indies like that, but it doesn't compare. That's like you're like getting punched or like you're getting like hit with a gun or something like that. But it's never wearing 100+ pounds. Shooting a hose, running into a building that's on fire with the smoke, or there's water everywhere, whatever it may be. It's always much more toned down than this show.
Are there other genres that you would like to get more into then?
I think the genre that I've like always kind of been about, and I think we were talking about this before, is science fiction. I love sci-fi. Oh my god, I'm like a nut for sci-fi. Yeah. So if there's any scripts out there that you need an Indian guy for, let me know. But yeah, that would really be the genre that I would really love to do. I've kind of done all the other ones thus far. I've done like rom-coms before. I've done straight action. I've done dramas. But yeah, sci-fi. Maybe a western. I think that'd be really cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, there's a lack of South Asians in westerns, so another thing.
Do you have a favorite western?
I'm trying to think what my favorite would be. There's a show called Godless that came out a couple of years ago. It's with I'm blanking on the guy's name. Jack O'Connell. He plays the main guy in it. And Greg Daniels. Greg Daniels. It was cool. It was really interesting. You should check it out.
No, I will.
Godless.
I will.
Yeah. It's like a mini series. Yeah.
I have not watched a lot of westerns, but
That's okay.
that's on my list.
Cool.
Well, okay, I would love to end with this.
Yeah.
Again, just in the celebration of broadcast and network TV, what is it that playing Ravi has brought to your life? And what are you most proud of in your portrayal of that character?
I think we're always talking about Ravi's a nice guy and all that stuff. And I would like to say that there's a kindness to Ravi that I'm really happy that I brought out, and that's become a central tenet to the character. We'll still have fun and everything, but at the end of the day, he means well always, and there's no pretense, which I'd like to think is something that I'm bringing from my own personal life into the role. What I'm most proud of, I think, is that I've had a lot of South Asian kids come up to me and, like talk about watching another South Asian character on screen that is so non-traditional, right? I don't think there's maybe one other firefighter who is like legitimately South Asian. And so I think being at the frontier of that, being a pioneer of that kind of fills my heart. And, I've seen videos of like kids, like really young kids dressed up as firemen. These are all Indian kids as well, but they're like dressed up as firemen and they're saying like, Ravi, Ravi, Ravi. And that's really like, wow, you're having a level of impact that you really can't have with anything else. And so, yeah.
That's great. That was a great answer
Yeah,
to this
cool.
question.
Right on.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being my first guest, Ani. It was so great to chat with you about 911 and all the network TV things.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for having me.